Welcome back. Let's look at the try one more. Hopefully you've had time to finish making your ruler. You can see that I chose to use different colors on my ruler because remember, first we find the half and then we find each quarter interval, each half of a half. So I'm going to use this ruler to help David measure the line in the try one more. I remember from second grade that I need to line up the line with the 0 on my ruler. And then I'm going to see where my line ends on my ruler. So let's go ahead and line that up as best we can and see where we end up. So line up your ruler with the edge of the line and let's look. I can make marks on my line where my ruler ends to help me. I can also make marks on my line on where my ruler ends on looking at each interval. So we're placing the 0 at the end of one end and then lining it up to see which interval the other end was at. So when we measure, we always line up the object at the 0 point and we think, what is the length of the object? First, we're going to count the whole intervals. So let's do that. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I count 6 whole intervals. Next, I'm going to count my quarter-inch intervals. Now, depending on how long your line is on your screen, it might be a little different than mine, but that's okay. So I'm going to count the quarter-inch intervals. I'm going to count 1 quarter and 2 quarters. When I count those quarter-inch intervals, I'm getting 2 quarter-inch intervals. And I remember from my fractions unit that 2/4 is the same as 1/2. And I can read it on my ruler here that this is 6 1/2. So I'm going to mark this line as 6 1/2 inches. Your line may be shorter on your screen. It may be longer on your screen. We want to be as precise as possible using our ruler. So please make sure that you are measuring using your ruler to the nearest quarter inch. When you measure to the 4th or quarter inch, as we sometimes call it, we want to think how many whole intervals and how many quarter inch intervals are there from end to end. Let's write that down. We want to think how many whole intervals and how many quarter inch intervals from end to end. To write the length, we want to make sure that we include the unit of measure. We want to make sure we include the whole intervals and any fractions, whether they are 1/4, 1/2, or 3/4. Remember, we can also write 1/2 as 2/4. You may see that in your practice. Question: how and why do we use fractions when measuring?